Carnival have made a couple of big announcements this week, with the Sydney and Brisbane-based Splendor and Spirit both coming to America. I had to say that, I apologize. And is the Carnival Spirit going to be replaced down under with another fleet mate? I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy. As always, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's not every week you get to say that a cruise ship caused the cancellation of a rocket launch, but that's exactly what happened this week. Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, one of the largest ships in the world, was responsible for the cancellation of a SpaceX launch. The ship departed its berth in Miami, Florida, setting course for a 7-night Caribbean cruise when it happened to sail straight into a predetermined exclusion zone in the open sea. As a result of the incursion, the launch was cancelled and rescheduled to the following day. A few days ago, some interesting news broke on Facebook via Carnival brand ambassador and senior cruise director John Hield. He published a post that detailed a curious deployment change, indicating that the Carnival Spirit would be redeployed to the US to Jacksonville in Florida to start sailing from March. This announcement was shared by Cruise Director Lee, another of Carnival's popular ambassadorial figures. Australians, especially those booked on Carnival Spirit's earlier sailings, were understandably upset and irritated by the news. These announcements and the subsequent backlash occurred before Carnival even had an opportunity to make its own official statement, which was not a good look for the company. John Hield's original post has since been removed. I understand that the direct line from Carnival was that this news was a leak and consisted of incomplete information. However, their official announcement didn't provide much more in the way of detail. It read, "Due to the overwhelming success of the resumption of cruising in the US and the continued uncertainty in Australia with operations still on pause, Carnival Spirit will be deployed to Jacksonville, Florida to commence cruising from March 7th. Carnival Cruise Line looks forward to resuming guest operations in Australia when government officials can provide clarity." It doesn't stop there, however, because just 2 days later, an official announcement this time indicated that Carnival Splendor would be joining Carnival Spirit in her redeployment to the US. What came as a bit of a shock though was that Carnival confirmed the Splendor won't return to Sydney until September 26th. More shocking is that the Spirit won't be returning to Brisbane until October 5th, 2023. I don't think anyone can begrudge Carnival making the choice to send their cruise ships to a place that actually allows cruising. An idle cruise ship is really just a drain on finances after all. I do, however, believe this could have been handled much better from a PR perspective. Many local cruisers were left reeling from the news, and these are people that have been booking and rebooking and rebooking and rebooking cruises throughout each round of cancellations. It didn't help that news broke via unauthorized channels to begin with, and even worse was that the initial information was incomplete, if not incorrect. All of the guests affected by these cancellations have been offered a full refund or the choice of a future cruise credit with onboard credit bonus on their next cruise. I can tell you though that there has been a shift in consumer sentiment, at least to me anyway, that looks like people are now more likely to request a refund. As another point of interest though, a Carnival staffer has indicated that there may be 2 ships based in Australian waters this year after all. This would be an example of unconfirmed news of course, but it might be something to look forward to. P&O Australia made its own announcement this week, advising guests and travel partners that Vanuatu has further extended their ban on international tourism through to at least the end of July. As a result, several South Pacific itineraries will likely be altered, with P&O saying, "As the Vanuatu border closure will affect your client's cruise itinerary, we wanted to get in touch as soon as possible to let you know that we are currently reviewing these changed circumstances. We ask for your continued patience and understanding while we assess potential substitute cruise itineraries for your clients. A further update from the company about the affected itineraries is expected in March." We live in an era where the immediacy of news and information often comes at the cost of accuracy, and that is no more true than on social media. Such is the state of mind of Australia's cruising public that actual cruise line announcements are often misinterpreted, misread, and then shared online. It also doesn't help when unofficial channels are making announcements before the cruise lines have had a chance to make a statement. This week I saw examples of P&O's announcements about the Vanuatu border closure somehow being misconstrued as a flat-out cancellation notice. I don't blame the people involved necessarily, as I think the misunderstanding is a direct result of the state of mind of the Australian traveller and our current expectation that every cruise line announcement is going to detail an extension to their cruising suspension. It really just speaks to the current climate that we're living in. To that end, Australia's cruise ban is due to be reviewed within the next 2 weeks. The ban was recently extended until February 17th, but as I mentioned in a recent video, the expectation is that a cruise restart is dependent on the Biosecurity Amendment Bill being passed by both the lower and upper houses of Parliament. There is still some time to go before that happens, so I don't exactly have high hopes for good news within the next 2 weeks. Well, that brings me to the end of this week's cruise news update, possibly one of my more depressing ones of late. We are heading into a weekend though, so wherever you are, I hope you have something fun planned. And if you don't, maybe just have a cocktail or two, responsibly of course. If you are looking to book a cruise at some point, you can head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguy.com.au. And if you haven't followed me on Facebook or Instagram, you can do that too, at The Cruise and Travel Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Carnival have made a couple of big announcements this week, with the Sydney and Brisbane-based Splendor and A few days ago, some interesting news broke on Facebook via Carnival. All of the announcements and subsequent backlash that occurred, all the guests affected by these cancellations have this is going to be a good one.